How's it going, fam? Welcome back to Erica's EDC, and today we are doing a pocket dump and an EDC journey story at the end, okay? Just in case you don't want to listen to the journey aspect of things. We'll do that at the end. Let's get into the pocket dump right now. This is everything that I've been carrying the past, I don't know, 3-4 days. We had to take a little bit of an alternate route due to the recent circumstances. So instead of carrying the knife that we were testing, we switched over to the SE Knives CR 2.5. Yeah, that's what it is. And I've had this on the belt for the past couple days. This is in 1095. Really cool little blade, super thick stock. And there's a reason I am testing this right now. It will tie into everything at the end, but we can't let all the secrets out, can we? We gotta add a little bit of suspense. But this is the one that I've been testing lately. I have a video up of me doing some prying with this. It's a very cool little blade. I really like the ergonomics, that the handle is really comfortable. The blade is tiny. I do wish that maybe they extended the blade a little bit. I just feel that the handle to blade ratio is a little off, and it would have, like, I would have rather actually had more cutting edge than handle, or maybe just give us more edge in general. But aside from that, it's a really cool little blade. It's very small. I'm really enjoying beating on this one lately, and it came with a nice little leather sheath that's breaking in nicely as well, so that's on the belt. And then we're also testing the Josh Francis of Knife Guy Mods recover on this Sodbuster Jr. This one's in carbon steel. It is, right? Yeah, carbon steel. Can never keep track of my chrome vanadium and my carbon steel blades. This one's cross-cut micarta with Ultim liners, which you may be able to see through a little bit. This is called the Ultimate Slater. It's just another spin on the Slater model series that we have. And we do have 2 more on the way. 2 more that I'll be showing over time. We just keep adding to that collection. But this one is really cool. Very thick handle. I really like that. It just fills the hand really nicely. This one's doing incredible. I'm running out of updates to give on these because Josh is really dialing in his fit and finish and stuff like that, so there's just not a ton to say. It's just a wicked fun little blade to carry. Sorry, we've got coffee going, of course. I have been carrying it in this Lynch leather ghost slip. Basically, all of the wax has worn off at this point, so that's what it looks like. Very nice little slip. And I do have an Urban Carver's brass bead on there. Not sure what model that is, but it's just a nice little brass bead. What else? We're back to the Sidewinder wallet from Failsafe Goods. I ran the Snapjack 2.0 for a month and tested it. It was fabulous, but with all of the gear I'm carrying and the fixed blade on my belt and such, I switched back to a minimalist wallet to try to kind of disperse the weight where I could. So we're back to the minimalist wallet. This is one that I've been running for, you know, a year and a half or something like that. It's in Crazy Horse leather. Gorgeous wallet. Really well made. I cannot recommend Ryan's work enough. Failsafe Goods. Okay? Boring chapstick, of course. We have the pocket crucifix. I don't think this guy is doing his little project anymore, unfortunately. A friend of mine and myself cannot find his Instagram page, so we're thinking maybe he just took a break. So I can't tell you where to get these anymore, but it's a nice little reminder down in my pocket. We have the Hank issuing stitches Hank. Okay. Field notes and my tactile turn pen. This is the mini slim bolt action pen. Really nice little pen. Probably my favorite of all time. It's very well made. We are running the Phoenix E12 flashlight in the pocket today. I just cycle through flashlights. Depending on what pants I'm wearing and what I'm doing for the day, I'll just kind of alternate through flashlights if I'm not testing a particular model. So today we have the Phoenix E12, and this is the new version. Phoenix went through and revamped all of their models, basically, that they offered. I'm just trying to get the old one for comparison. So this is the new one. Here's the old version. So they basically shrunk everything down. I think they increased the lumen count and the candela, all of that stuff, and they just tried to make everything a little more compact and short and pocketable for the most part, and rechargeable. This one is not, but a lot of their new models are. So I have both, but carrying the newer version today. What else do we have? Hold on, just trying to get everything organized here. Okay, my favorite Swiss Army knife of all time that really never changes, the Super Tinker from Victorinox. This is my favorite Swiss Army knife. It has everything I need, nothing I don't. I have a lot of content on this on the channel. It's a fabulous little multi-tool. It's about as thick as I can go. I wouldn't want any thicker. Really nice. And then lastly, we do have the tiny little extra small Knipex. Little pliers here. These are the smallest ones that they make. Really tiny. They're nearly the size of the Swiss Army knife. Okay. This is a great duo. If you don't want to carry a Leatherman, if it's too heavy or too cumbersome, or you just don't want to, you can build kind of a Leatherman out of these two tools together. And you actually have, in my opinion, from my experience, more options to do more work, because you have a way wider range of tasks that you can do with a Knipex. You know, you can only do so much with needle nose pliers. Are they great for precision? Absolutely. Do you have the wire cutters? You surely do. But for me, I actually find that I use pliers like this, water pump pliers, more often. For some reason at work, our toilets hate us. And they're constantly breaking. And these pliers are the ones that I need to fix the toilet. The flusher handle is always coming undone. It needs to be replaced. And just, I'm the only one that knows how to do like mild plumbing tasks at my job. I work with a bunch of females. So these are really, really handy when the toilet is giving us issues. You can't fix the toilet with the Leatherman, at least not the Leathermans that I have. They don't have a wide enough mouth. Okay, so I always have these in my pocket. And I am currently testing a carry option for these. So I mentioned in a previous video that I had a whole bunch of these sheaths come in. These are from Cobra Sheath, I think it's called. The guy 3D prints these cool little carriers for Knipex. Okay, so you put it down in your pocket or on your belt, and it has a little clip thing here. It's really cool. It's, you know, 3D printed plastic. He's constantly revising the design. So I'm again not recommending this yet. This is not a review. I'm just talking about what I'm carrying lately and testing. But so far, he's really got a very good idea going here. I don't have any complaints about this. It's a really lightweight, nice way to carry your Knipex. Like I said, on your belt or clipped down in your pocket. I do the pocket thing. And it doesn't add anything because it actually weaves through the pliers themselves. And then they just get held in this little area down here, but it doesn't add anything. It adds no weight because it's plastic. It's just a really cool way to carry your pliers. I've mentioned this also in previous videos. I just don't do well carrying the pliers if I don't have something to put them in, because they end up opening up in my pocket, and when I bend down, they pinch me. So this is a really cool option. Obviously, you know, not a review, so if you go and buy this and something happens, don't blame me, okay? I'm still in the process of testing it. Now that we've gotten the pocket dump over with, I do want to know what you're carrying today. I always love hearing that, but also we're going to talk a little bit about my EDC journey, because we have a ton of new subscribers, and a lot of people tend to go on my videos and they will just randomly click on one, and then they have no context as to what the channel was built off of or anything. And I get the same questions over and over about like what I do for work. How do I know all of this stuff? Like, what experience do I have? Especially, I think, because I'm a female, and my audience is 99.5% men. The discredit wants to get thrown in my face quite often, let's just put it that way. So let's just go over really quick kind of the journey and how I got to where I am now. I've mentioned this before, but my father made knives. I grew up carrying knives my entire life. Like, one of the only times I bonded with my father when I was a child was watching Frost Cutlery on the TV, and I was a little nugget. I'm talking like I was very obsessed with that channel when I was like 8, 9, 10. Like, my father and I didn't do a lot together, but when we did, it had to do with either fixing things like cars and building things or watching knife stuff. So we would watch Frost Cutlery together, eating Doritos when I was a child, and I have carried a knife ever since I can remember. Like, I started very, very young. By the time I was like 9 or 10, I was riding around town on my bicycle with 3 machetes on my belt because there are no knife laws in New Hampshire. I'm not kidding. Like, I would have machetes all over me, neck knife. Like, I would save up my allowance and spend it on Frost Cutlery knives on the TV and call in an order with my father when I had enough money. And every knife that I owned would be on my person. I was obsessed. And the cops would, follow us around town and chase us down, making sure we weren't doing anything inappropriate with the knives. But like I said, there are no knife laws in New Hampshire, so you can carry whatever you want. And I would just spend every waking moment that I had fishing, out in the woods, whittling and building little pretend fires, and just everything I did revolved around knives. And it always has. I never stopped. I never ever stopped. So, when I was in high school, I graduated early, but unfortunately I didn't have anywhere to live when I was in high school, and my high school teacher who was teaching me my early childhood education classes actually ended up taking me in. So I was only 16, 17, finished all my courses from high school early, and I started college courses at my high school because they had a program basically for children like me who had the knowledge and the motivation to go to college but didn't have the resources. So they ended up offering college courses at my high school that you could do remotely. And ironically, the teacher who was teaching me all that stuff also actually took me in. So it was so funny. I would go to school, I would do my college courses for early childhood education, and then I would go home with my teacher because I had nowhere to live. And I started working at the daycare that was on campus and stuff like that. And my initial career goal was to be a teacher. So I did my college courses for teaching. I completed early childhood education 1 and 2, early childhood development, all of the kid stuff, all of the kid stuff. Got my certificates, got all my stuff. I didn't like graduate college with a degree or anything. I just took all of the courses that I needed to be a teacher for early childhood education. And I worked at a Waldorf school for many years after. And a Waldorf school, if you don't know, it's kind of a German-based education system where we teach the children everything kind of outdoors. You try to be outside all the time. There's no sitting at desks. We don't even have desks. You mold the curriculum for each child as an individual. It's not like public school where it's one size fits all. It tends to the child's actual needs, which is really cool. And like I said, everything we did was outside, and they would whittle little sticks, and we went on walks to the pond. Even if it was freezing cold out, you just dress warm and you go outside with the kids. Even the infants, you bundle them up in like 8 layers and you go outside. That's very common over in Switzerland and Norway and all of those places. The children are outside a lot. So yeah, I worked at a Waldorf school for many, many years, and I was a teacher for, I did half of my day in the infant and toddler room, and then my other half of the day in the pre-K room, which was like 3 years old to 6 years old, basically. And I did that for many, many years. teaching was my passion until it wasn't. And it still is my passion, but it's just changed from wanting to do early childhood education to implementing, I should say, my teaching skills to knife stuff. The passion has never left. While I was a teacher, I was also always doing side jobs that were blue collar, landscaping and contracting and construction and stuff like that. Like, it never left. I always had a side hustle of doing the dirty work, basically. So once I finished teaching, sorry, for quick context here, I'm 28. Anyway, so once I was done teaching, that's when I went into blue collar jobs for basically the rest of my career up until now. There were periods where I worked at like a doggy daycare for a year. And remember, I always had like 2 jobs basically. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, I went into blue collar work for basically the rest of my career. I worked on a farm. I did construction and landscaping. I worked in a warehouse, doing mechanical work for a really long time. So, yeah, the rest of my career journey was very blue collar for the most part. And that's where a lot of my experience that I share on the channel now comes into play, because I have just been doing like the hands-on stuff forever. And I have always had a lifestyle that supported that as well. I've always been outdoorsy, hiking, camping. I've got a bunch of dogs. I hike all the time with them. In the summer, just a lot of, more of the New Hampshire lifestyle. So up until recently, within the past year, I've had blue collar jobs, and now life has kind of settled down. I'm really trying to dial in where I want to go career-wise, because I'm getting older. I don't want to job hop anymore, and I never did job hop. I always had my jobs for like a year and a half, 2 years, and then I would switch. And I think a lot of people do that when they're young. They're just trying to find where they want to fit in career-wise. So for the past year, over a year, I've been working for a local nonprofit. It's called Operation Delta Dog. Some of you may know this, but if you don't, we basically are a nonprofit that rescues dogs from high kill shelters down south. We transport them up here, and then we rehabilitate them and train them for our veterans that have served, that have PTSD, TBI, and MST. And it's at zero cost to the veteran. Like, they do not pay a dime. We pay for everything. The course is 18 months per veteran. We supply the dog. We do all the training with them. They come to classes. And yeah, the veterans do not pay anything. And then we offer lifelong support for the dog and the veteran, again, at no cost. The veterans never pay a dime. The thing that makes us unique is that we use only positive reinforcement training. So a lot of training facilities that you will find, training programs, they use shock collars, choke chains. We don't do that. We only use praise and positive reinforcement. And I know some people may debate that, but that's just what we do. We use treats and praise and positive behavior to teach the dog to do the correct things and to not do the things that we don't want them to do, as opposed to scaring them away from certain behaviors and training them to be a robot. So that's the job that I'm in now. Like I said, I've been there for over a year, and I get to carry whatever I want to work, which is really fun, like whatever knives and tools and stuff I want to use, which is really neat. I also get to talk with a lot of veterans, obviously, because that's the job. So that's really cool. But yeah, I can carry whatever I want to work, which is, it allows me to test a whole bunch of stuff. And although the job is not necessarily blue collar, it is a dirty job. When you're working with dogs, especially dogs that are being shipped up from down south that have never been handled by a human being, they're not potty trained, they don't have leash manners, they've never been domesticated, basically. It's a dirty job, you get dirty, you get hurt. It's not for the faint of heart, I guess I'll say. And the other thing is, we are constantly, because we are a nonprofit, we are constantly having donations sent in from like Chewy.com and certain groups and just people that donate to us. They donate dog supplies and toys and leashes and collars and all that stuff. So there are constantly tons of packages coming in, tons. So I do get to test my knives a lot at work because we are constantly cutting things up. So although it's not blue collar work per se, I am serving my community, which is great. And also I get to test a lot of gear. Also, again, we are a nonprofit, so if we can try to fix things ourselves, that's probably what we're going to do. Just like with the toilets. You're tight on money, so we try to, keep things going on our own before we have to call somebody in and use that expense. So I get to test a lot of gear, which is cool. But yeah, I get to do a lot of testing with the knives. It gives me, because I work the night shift, it gives me a ton of opportunity to really use my gear, focus on using it and testing it, and I can record a lot of content because of that too, which is really nice. But yeah, that's where I am right now. Am I going to be here forever? I'm not sure. My passion is knives, and that hasn't changed. I really want to do something with knives, and I don't know if it's designing, building. I'm not sure yet. I'm figuring that out. But what's cool is that this job gives me the opportunity to figure that out because I have the time to. The dogs fall asleep by 8 p.m. They've been working all day. So by 8 o'clock, they're pretty passed out. I get a few hours left of my shift to kind of work on the channel, work on the Instagram page, talk with people. So yeah, I don't know where I'm going from here. I'm figuring that out and taking my time and enjoying my job that I have now. But that's just for some context for anybody that wanted to listen. So yeah, I definitely get to use and test a lot of the stuff. Am I using my knives as multi-tools too much anymore? No, not really. I'm not. You can watch content from 2 years ago on my channel on the Use Your Shit playlist where I'm, working on houses and in construction and using my knives as pry bars and prying open paint cans and using them as chisels. Like, there's so much content on the Use Your Shit playlist of me just beating the pulp out of the Benchmade 940, the Emerson Mini A100, the Chris Reeve Small Sebenza. Tons of cool content on that. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm using my knives as cutting tools for the most part. But yeah, I get to test a lot of edge retention type stuff. More normal stuff, I guess, right? Like a normal person, not a cuckoo crazy person beating on their knives all the time. But yeah, hopefully that kind of helps to give some idea and some context behind how my testing goes. The time that gets put into it, the environment that my tools are getting tested in. I live a pretty interesting lifestyle outside of work. I have a pack of dogs, very outdoorsy. They eat a raw food diet. I'm constantly processing game for them. The redneck side of Erica is alive and well at home, and we still do the Use Your Shit, but for my work day, it's a little more normal and we can do more like edge retention testing as opposed to beating the crap out of things and seeing how long it takes for them to break. But I hope that, that provides a little bit of clarity on things. If you want to support our organization, our nonprofit, we do have a website, obviously, operationdeltadog.com, I believe it is, or .org. You'll find it. It'll pop right up, and yeah, it's a very cool, very helpful service for our veterans, and one of the things I am most passionate about is our veterans. Taking care of the people that take care of us, that took care of us. It's very important to me. So if you want to help support us, you can go to our website. I know a lot of companies get like a budget per year and they can donate it to good causes, basically. So just something to keep in mind. Like I'm always just throwing that out there for anyone that wants to help support our veterans. But that's all I have for you guys today. So I hope that you drink some coffee If you are a coffee addict like myself, I hope that you maybe go use your shit today if you wish. And you don't have to beat it up, and you don't have to break it, and you don't have to abuse it. But maybe just use it and see what it does for you. Learn to sharpen your knives if you want. It's very fun, especially freehand. And I will see you guys on the next video. I love you so much. Take care.